What is up, everyone? I'm going to go ahead and just bring this up real quick. Once again, as mentioned before, I do not live by myself. So if you hear background noises, it's my roommates doing whatever it is that they do when they do in their rooms. Also, I need to get into the hang of editing these things. This is like my third take in this video. And I'm going to go ahead and try my best to be as laconic and as logical as possible. Anybody who has known me personally knows that if I ever feel inadequate in something, I'm just going to quit it. There's been a handful of times where I've been introduced to something that I didn't like immediately, and I was like, I don't want to be involved in this. I don't want to deal with it. Professional wrestling was one of those things that I just felt committed to. It was like one of those things that, I felt like I needed to be connected to in some way. Going to a wrestling training has made me realize exactly how committed I am to wrestling. I couldn't go today because I had to take a test for school, but since I've been going there, I think one of the best feelings is knowing that I can mess up. That's a good feeling for me. Whenever I try anything that I just started, anything I was new in, I always had in my brain that I shouldn't mess up, not even one time. Because if I mess up, then it's just gonna pile on for like later on. And no matter how much people have told me it's okay to mess up, I will always punish myself about it. So it was like one of those things that I just sort of felt like, it felt worse than what it was. So I was always sort of like emotionally connected to just not messing up. And in wrestling school, or wrestling training, I'll call it, that feeling is destroyed. There's nothing there. There's that feeling is nil. Like I feel like I can make mistakes. I feel like I can slip and fall. I feel like I can get tired, and it doesn't feel like, oh, you failed, you gotta go, you suck. It doesn't feel like that, and that is a good feel. That's a bit of a is a feeling that I've had to confirm to myself in this specific scenario because I don't like doing burpees. But one of the big things about professional wrestling is that it's mostly cardio. And if y'all haven't figured it out by now, with my double chin and my pouchy belly, I am not good at cardio. Mm. But I'm trying to be, you know. But it's a uplifting. It feels like a burden is being lifted off of me a little bit. Every single time I go to training, I feel like I have the capabilities of actually getting better at something that I do. I feel like when I watch wrestling, I could watch a wrestling match and be like, I can do that. I can do that. Okay, I can do that. I can do that. It's like it's a good feeling to know that all that stress that I used to put on myself, all of that, you know, every negative thought that I have, you know, before I go to training is there a little bit less. I'm not gonna say completely gone, but is there a little bit less when I can, just run the ropes and know that I can run the ropes, take a bump and know that I can take a bump and do the things that I can do. It's, I can't. I don't know, and I've never felt this way before. I've never felt this way before. My whole life, I've always sort of seen myself as like a failure in everything. I was always sort of like I failed in a lot of things. I made more mistakes than I know. I mean, look at how I live, guys. I made more mistakes than I know that I was capable of making. I screwed up more times than I can count. I have basically proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that if it's possible to make a mistake, I may have made it at least twice, if not 14 times. And it all kind of just, and it sort of washes away when I'm there because this is a childhood dream. When I was a kid, I wanted this. I remember I wanted to be a professional wrestler at 14 years old. I was a little kid. I was watching wrestling. It was air. This was before digital TV. We still had something called Air TV. It was cable TV and Air TV. And Air TV only had like 7 channels, and wrestling used to come on in the most awkward of times. When you're a kid going to school and you have to go to sleep at like 10. You know, and all the wrestling came on, and I got a chance to see like one match. It was D'Lo Brown versus um, I don't know, a jobber of some sort. And I remember I was watching that match with my dad. It was me, my dad, and my brothers, and we was just eating food, watching TV. And I just remember thinking, saying, "Ooh, if I was in the ring, I'd do this and that and this and that and the third." And my dad was like, "Why don't you do it? You should get in there and do that then." And in my brain, I think that was ultimately what sort of like sparked it, but not completely, because I was a little kid. Then I found myself learning what an ukemi was after looking at a humongous dictionary that my mom had. My mom has like a whole bunch of books. In my older videos, they should like show that. But like there was a whole bunch of books, and she had like this giant Scholastics dictionary for kids. So it was a humongous dictionary, but it had like pictures for kids, and it showed me what a ukemi was. And I remember thinking to myself, "Ooh, I learned a new word. Oh crap, that's what that is." So one night anyway, running back home. I was running back home in the backyard, and I forgot to duck the clothesline because there actually was an actual clothesline. And the clothesline was fairly low off the ground. I got clotheslined by the clothesline, and did the ukemi to try to make sure that I didn't break my arm. So I was like, I took a bump as a kid. It was just a lot of like little isolated incidents, and I just said to myself, this is definitely something that I can do. This is something that I have an idea that I can actually do. But life happened. I found myself, working a lot, not making enough money to save up for school for wrestling, going to school, then having to quit because of work, and I could have been wrestling a lot sooner than I am now. And it's a very very it was a crippling thought back then. Like stepping in that wrestling ring and doing it, man. Just doing it. And now, looking back at myself when I was like 20 or 22, and thinking to myself, wow, I've gotten better. I could have been doing this a lot sooner, but I'm glad I'm doing it now. This is a long video. It's 8 minutes, and I'm sorry about that, but like it's a good feeling knowing that I'm that much closer to accomplishing a childhood dream. And I don't know. I guess it's uplifting. It's an uplifting feeling. And I don't get this often. I don't get these feelings often, especially not on the internet, because the internet is chock full of bullies and psychopaths and racists and stuff. And so it's just like it's really weird to know that, like, for a brief moment in my life, I could feel this way, before it's taken away from me. That's it. Love and peace. Y'all have a good one. And see you out there in the ring. Or something.